Okay, so all Shopify stores are running into a major problem right now, and you're probably running into the same issue yourself. Now, the problem is that Shopify brands have been building their business on top of rented relationships. And Apple has recently made a change that has completely destroyed the way you were used to doing business. Now, what the heck do I mean by rented relationships? So, okay, you probably do this, and this is the typical ad marketing strategy for a Shopify brand. You run ads on Facebook, for example, and one set of ads you will run are called prospecting ads. These are ads where you are targeting a list of people or a group of people on Facebook that Facebook believes are probably going to be interested in the type of product that you're selling. When people see these ads, they click them and they come to your website, and then Facebook tracks what pages and what products they look at on your website through the Facebook pixel, which is a little bit of code that you've installed on your store. And if that person comes to your site and they look at a specific product and then they leave and they don't give you any contact information, what you then do is you go pay Facebook to show them what's called a retargeting ad, where you're going to show them an ad, maybe when they're scrolling through Instagram, that features one of the products or multiple products that they looked at when they visited your store. And so this is what I mean when I say rented relationship. You don't actually have any contact information for this person, you haven't built a relationship with them, and the only way you're able to communicate with them is to pay Facebook for Facebook to show them communication from you in the Facebook channel. And so Facebook owns the relationship, you are just renting it. Now, what Apple has recently done is they've done something that breaks this. You actually can no longer do this the same way that you've been doing for years and years. So Apple recently came out with a software update, iOS 14.5. This is an update for all iPhones and all iPads. And I don't know if you know this, but over 60% of the mobile devices in the United States are actually iPhones and iPads. And in this update, there's a lot of great updates for consumers that makes their Apple experience better, but one of these updates makes it so that pixels don't automatically track data and send them back to advertisers like Facebook. The iPhone owner actually has to approve that Facebook can track their data, and most of these people don't approve it. They don't want Facebook tracking what they're doing, and they don't want this stuff happening in the background. And so what this means is that now, when you run your prospecting ads to people you've never met before, they click the ad, they come to your website, and they don't give you their contact information. And if this person has said they don't want Facebook to be able to track what they're doing when they go to your website, you're actually not able to show them retargeting ads anymore. And so if you don't get their contact information and you don't learn anything about them, they're just gone. You can't do anything. And so Apple has pulled the rug out from everybody in order to make the experience better for consumers. But what this means is that in a world where you previously relied on rented relationships and relied on retargeting ads, you really need to adjust how you do business. And so what you need to be doing, and this is what a lot of brands are starting to realize, is you need to move away from relying on retargeting ads and third-party data and instead rely on owned relationship marketing. So you need to take every site visitor who comes to your website and do everything you can to, as quickly as possible, provide them enough value that you can build your own relationship with them. So you need to get as much contact information as possible, and you need to learn about these people visiting your website as much as possible. So why are they there? What are their concerns? What are their interests? What are their preferences? And this is actually called zero-party data, and it is the new lifeblood of how your business needs to operate. Now, beforehand, and for the past many decades, the number one way that you would get contact information from people who visit your website is through pop-ups. And pop-ups have not changed in decades. You know exactly what they look like. This is super standard. It asks for an email or phone number in exchange for a discount code. They type in their email or their phone number, and then you give them a discount code and you say thank you, and they go off on their way. This is how pop-ups have worked, for the longest time. You probably have one of these running on your website right now. But the thing is that these don't convert nearly as many people to giving you contact information as you need. Typically they get anywhere from 2.5% to 5%, and you need to be getting anywhere from 10 to 20%. And the other problem is that you might be getting their contact information, but you're not learning anything about this customer. And you really need that additional data, that zero-party data that the customer is giving you, so that you can start running sophisticated nurture campaigns on both email and SMS, which are channels that you own, because you're no longer going to be relying on Facebook or other ad platforms for retargeting. And so to make this as simple as possible, to help you increase the amount of contact information you get and get 10 to 20% of people who visit your website, to start collecting zero-party data, so actually what are people's preferences, and to drive more sales, we have created something in Octane AI that makes this super, super simple. You can set it up in minutes, and the stats are absolutely off the charts. It's called Conversational Pop-ups. Now, conversational pop-ups are amazing. We've reimagined how pop-ups work. Instead of confronting the site visitor right off the bat with a huge ask for their contact information, instead, it starts with a conversation, which is how you engage with real humans when you're in person. So this is a much more natural way to do things, and it gets a lot more engagement. So in this example, you can say something like, what are you looking for? And the customer can answer this question, and now we've learned something about them. We know why they're here. The next step is to now get their contact information. So we've started the conversation, now we can complete our ask for email or phone number or some other way to get in touch. Next, we will use that information for what they're looking for to create a personalized set of product recommendations that matches up with what they're looking for. So the stats for this are really, really amazing. So with all the Shopify and Shopify Plus stores that we've been running this with, 20% of people will answer this first question. That is a huge amount of engagement. That's around 4 times more engagement than most pop-ups get. 50% of people, after answering the first question, will go on to give their contact information. This is around 2 times more contact info than you would get with most pop-ups. After that, 10 to 30% will go on to complete a purchase, which is around 4 to 6 times more conversions than pop-ups would usually be getting. So conversational pop-ups, this is the easiest way to go increase your contact information from site visitors, to get zero-party data, which is really targetable information that the site visitors are giving you directly, which you can sync instantly to platforms like Klaviyo to start nurturing your site visitors and your customers in a very respectful and valuable way. And you're going to convert more sales. And this is just the tip of the spear. Conversational pop-ups, that's the best way to greet people. That's how you start the relationship. With Octane AI, you can also create a full quiz or a concierge experience where you can really build a deep relationship. Instead of just asking one question, ask all the questions that you need to know. If you're a skincare brand, what type of skin do you have? What's your skincare routine? What are you worried about? If you're a fashion brand, maybe you want to ask about their style. These are the types of questions that you can start to get answers for from people visiting your website. And you can use that to have really advanced and high converting segmentation across your owned channels. And it's super, super easy. Conversational pop-ups can get set up in minutes. So to help me show you how exactly you go about doing that, and it requires no code, here is Jamila, one of our experts at conversational commerce.
Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to build a conversational pop-up in Octane AI. First, you're going to start by building a new quiz. The first thing you're going to do is add a question. Next, we're going to add a couple of answers. In this case, it's hoodies and t-shirts. Perfect. The next thing we're going to do is add an email opt-in so that people can enter their email address and of course get the discount code. Next, we're going to add our result pages and link them to the first question that we asked. And next, we're going to do the same thing, but for the t-shirt result page. The next thing I'm going to do is change some of the settings to make the pop-up in the quiz more on brand. And I'm also going to change the colors for the buttons in this particular case. And then I'm going to review my work. Next thing I'm going to do is save the quiz. Now we're going to actually create the pop-up itself and link that quiz to the pop-up. The next thing that we'll want to do is add an image, so that looks like more of a traditional pop-up. And then I'm going to change the color of the background of the pop-up to kind of blend in with that picture. And then the last thing that I want to do is if there are any kind of pages that I don't want this to show on, I will add these here. So in the case here, I'll exclude it from being on the cart page as well as the order status page. You can also tweak the amount of time it takes to actually see the pop-up. So here we have a default at 10 seconds, and then I'm going to save. And that's it.
So we've been working with the top Shopify stores, including the Shopify team on their hardware store. And we've been helping them adjust to this new world where you need to move away from pixels and ads the way you were used to doing them and moving towards owned relationship marketing, where you are collecting more contact information from your site visitors, and you are paying attention and focusing on collecting what's called zero-party data. That's data that your site visitors and your customers are knowledgeably giving you, and they're telling you about who they are and their preferences. Shopify actually even named Octane AI as the #1 best storefront app in the entire ecosystem. And so we're on a mission to help all brands in the Shopify ecosystem move away from rented relationships to owned relationship marketing. And we are the absolute best way for Shopify brands to start collecting this data and leveraging it, whether it's with us or through our partners like Klaviyo. So I'm very excited for you to come on board and join us. Let's go get started. You can hop in yourself. We're happy to help you get set up, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. Talk to you soon.
Hi, I'm Emily and I work for NatureWise, a supplement company based in Southern California. We were really excited to get to test out Octane's new conversational pop-up feature because it gives us the opportunity to gather valuable customer insight. Our pop-up asks the user what they're shopping for by giving them a few different options to choose from and then incentivizes them to opt into Facebook Messenger with a discount for our website. Developing rapport with our customers is really important to us because being in the supplement space, trust is a key factor in converting website visitors. This feature has really helped us to foster those relationships and we've seen great performance so far. We are excited to see what other data we can gather using the conversational pop-up feature by Octane.
So I think conversational pop-ups are going to be massive. I think that in any kind of scenario, what you want to do is give yourself the best possible at-bat situation when somebody lands on your site to try to convert them. And with the lack of data and information going back to a lot of these ad platforms, you have to become even stronger when it comes to the pop-ups, the modules, anything, any kind of messaging or information that gets displayed or shared on your site.
Collecting zero-party data is the most important thing that you as a brand owner need to do right now in order to stay competitive, but also to survive all the chaotic mess that the advertising platforms are creating for us. Back in the day, we would have to use things like first-party data or purchasing third-party data from other channels in order to get a better understanding of who we're marketing to. But today, personalizing the marketing and the creative and the copy to your customer is super important. And the best way to do that is to collect zero-party data from them. So how do you do that? Well, one of the best ways is to use a tool from Octane AI. Their conversational pop-up is one of the most exciting products that I've seen in recent years. And what it does is that it allows you to ask and be interactive with your customers to get better attributes and learn more about the customer when they first come onto your website. Back then, you may be just offering them a 15% off discount in exchange for their email address. But now you can get additional information on top of the email or phone number in order to personalize the marketing efforts that you are getting to your customers. So in a sense, there's no reason why not to collect zero-party data. It actually allows you to create a better experience for your customer, give them a better product recommendation, and actually personalize the entire experience from end to end instead of just blanket marketing efforts for everyone.
I think the main concern around the data change at the moment has really been mainly around Facebook ads, but obviously in the fall of 2021, we're going to see the changes coming in with iOS 15, which will make attribution a little bit more difficult when it comes to own marketing like email. I think the main thing at the moment, though, in terms of taking steps forward to get ready to collect zero-party data is to start with simple things. So if you are, for example, using email, you're able to send out surveys, to send out polls, collate that data, particularly if you're using something like Klaviyo. You can have those as custom profile properties, and you can then use that to obviously build up a better picture of your customer base and exactly obviously what they're looking for. I think the other thing too is that obviously if you're already using Octane AI Shop Quiz, you're obviously going to be collating a lot of data already on store, and you can then collate that within Klaviyo and make sure that you've got a really strong head start when it comes to zero-party data.
Hey everyone, this is Lizzie Nirenberg at Klaviyo, and there may be a lot of changes on the horizon when it comes to data privacy. Well, on the surface, these changes are pretty terrifying. The reality is that third-party data has never been a strong foundation for brands to base their marketing. Somewhere between the creation of cookies in the 90s and the increasingly more specific Instagram ads that are being served, the use of third-party data has become downright creepy. So while the changes from big tech are going to impact how much control consumers have over their data, these changes should be seen as an opportunity for brands to stop being creepy and start building relationships. And the only way for brands to build strong relationships with their customers is by leveraging the data that customers knowingly provide to them. So to build a relationship with someone, you ask questions, you listen to their responses, make sense of their answers, and then respond back in a way that is personal and relevant to the previous engagement. Spoiler alert, the same framework should be followed if you're building a relationship with one person or with 1 million. So the more customers that trust you're using their data responsibly, the more likely they're willing to share their data, which is why asking for data and collecting data with their permission is going to be more important than ever to create super personalized, targeted marketing experiences to drive higher conversion rates and deeper loyalty with customers. That's why we are so excited for what's launching.